Hey everybody, welcome to Storm Talk. Way Through News meteorologist Brian Good in for Christy again. She'll be in this afternoon in for Kevin to keep you updated on the ever-changing weather. First off, as we always do, take a look at the outlooks here. Not any severe risk today. In fact, the marginal risk in our very far southern sections, and that's about it. Most of the activity is going to be well to our south across the Carolinas and Alabama and Mississippi. Tomorrow, slight chance for a thunderstorm. Nothing severe, no, not even in the marginal category. That's good for the 4th of July. And then as we end to Sunday, not even a chance for a thunderstorm showing up in the system. So we'll get into that in just a second. First off, though, let's talk what's happened this morning. We've had some activity around earlier on in the day that has been developing, and then it faded away just before sunrise over Henry County through Cincinnati. To the south here, we've got thunderstorms. This is a little wave that's been holding together all the way from Paducah and has been tracking eastbound, producing quite a bit of heavy rain and a lot of lightning, too. No flood alerts have been issued for this. Mainly because this area has had some lesser rainfall amounts the past couple of days, as I'll show you in a second. So the ground's able to hold this rainfall event so far. But look what's happening at the backside of that. It's interesting to see how quickly it becomes stable behind it, and you get a clear patch showing up on the visible satellite. It won't take long to fill that back in, though. That is for sure. But there again, you can see right over Grayson County, heading through LaRue into southern Hardin County. That's where your core of the heaviest rain is, the core of heaviest intense lightning. About to move right over Munfordville. All right, so here's the flash flood watch in effect all the way through 8 o'clock this evening. It includes all of our counties except for our northern tier, as usually the case. Indianapolis controls these counties, and you guys have different criteria when it comes to flash flood guidance, and they are not going to go with a flash flood watch for you guys. But the rest of us are under this flash flood watch. Now, here are the rain totals, estimated by the radar, by the way, the past 72 days, or 72 hours. Not 72 days, 72 hours. And what I really want to point out is the concentration of the heaviest amounts that picked up the rain. You got one area here across southern areas of our viewing area, very close to Litchfield, in fact, that has picked up a substantial amount of rainfall. You also have another concentrated area right over Crawford County, southwest Indiana, and you got two areas here, Clark County into Oldham County, and then another one looks like Carroll in Jefferson County, Indiana. But notice where the least amount of rain has fallen here. Across our midsection of our viewing area, right along the parkways. And that is where that cluster of thunderstorms, again, is mainly tracking, right on the edge of that. So the ground is saturated, but not to the point where a lot of runoff is happening, at least not as of this moment, and that is allowing the ground to take in as much rain as it can out of that complex. Now, if this ball of rain we had on the radar earlier, if it was tracked a little more to the south or right over Indiana, that'll be a different story. We'll be looking at flash flood warnings. And so that's how the flash flood warnings and advisories will go for the rest of the day. If we get thunderstorms that develop, even small thunderstorms that normally we wouldn't blink an eye at in the middle of summer, even if they develop in this environment that is so saturated, you can get a flash flood warning. If they develop in this zone, more than likely, no warnings or alerts will be issued. But if they develop down in this zone, we may have some alerts and warnings get issued. So that's kind of why the Weather Service is evaluating the ground saturation and kind of going by that and the actual rainfall rates and determine whether or not advisories or alerts are issued, in case you guys are wondering. While some folks are under ones and some are not, even though they're all producing pretty much the same amount of rain over our entire area, it's all about the ability for the ground to hold that rain. That determines the alerts that get issued. So, what's going to happen for the next few days? We've been plagued by this boundary. It's been stuck right across the Ohio Valley. And what's happening is little pieces of energy have been riding down, one after another, after another, after another, producing these showers and thunderstorms, day and night. Well, each one of these little pieces of energy has been slowly pushing the boundary more to the south. And it's trying to dig. And one of these right now is moving across Kansas. It's trying to do that. It's trying to force that digging even more to push that front even more to the south. And that's why we're going to trend drier of the forecast after today, although it's going to be a close call on the northern fringe of that path, because still there's going to be an influence of moisture that will take place on either side of the path of the boundary here. So Indiana and northern Kentucky has the best chance to get that dry air from the Great Lakes to work its way in, which is good. But for those of you across southern Kentucky and especially to Tennessee, you're going to be so close to where that boundary is getting pushed that we can't take your rain chance out entirely. So it's all about location here for the holiday weekend. But hopefully we'll get enough dry in here to have a decent weekend for a good chunk of the Ohio Valley and at least a good chunk of our area. But don't want to forget you guys to the south. We are going to keep an eye on the radar trends. Speaking of that, here's Futurecast in the short term. Again, it starts to get a little bit of heating out there today. We get these pop-up thunderstorms. Now, if the placement is right on this model by late afternoon, evening, then that would be a flash flood warning type of deal, it looks like, with lesser activity to the south. But again, sometimes these models are good on picking up on how the radar will look, but it can be off sometimes by 40 to 60 miles on where. It could actually end up being in this area they pop and not around Carrollton through Louisville. So, again, we're only as good as the radar estimates can be on models, and that's how things are trending for this afternoon. We'll, of course, keep an eye on the radar trends and see how well this matches up. Then tonight, everything should fade away, I would say, after sunset into the midnight time period. It may take a while, but I think it'll happen. All right, here we go. 4th of July. By midday, a lot of you getting the grills out, getting the yard taken care of, get your badminton sets set up in the yard. You can see most of the area along and north of 64 looks dry. It's going to be our southern areas that are going to be more humid. Perhaps some fog and some drizzle, maybe some thunderstorms at that point, even on the radar. And for the afternoon, you can actually see the push of dry air try to work its way in to keep all the thunderstorm chances south of the parkways, and then mainly sunny and warm on the northern side of things. And then all of us have a chance at least to get the fireworks off the ground after sunset. All right, now let's talk about what's going to happen on Sunday. Sunday, very similar setup here again. You saw that trend of pushing the boundary to the south. The trend is still there in the longer-term models to keep that boundary in that area to allow for another warm and mainly dry day for Sunday. Monday is our best day as far as dry weather looks, but it also means it could be our hottest day. Temperatures around 90, if not higher. Although we're pretty saturated and very green right now with all this rain, so it's going to be really hard to get above 90 degrees, but with all the humidity around. But that will be our driest and hottest day, looks like, for Monday. But look what's coming, another front. And just like we normally see in the summertime, these fronts move in and they stall out over the Ohio Valley because they have no wind energy like you would have in the spring and the fall to push them all the way down into Florida. We just don't have that much energy this time of year. So they can get as far as the Ohio Valley, and then the brakes get put on, and then the boundaries kind of stall out. And that very well be a scenario for next week. Very typical setup we see in the summertime. We just don't normally get this many of them over and over again, and that was the way it was really last year too. For July and August, we had a lot of problems with flooding and cooler than normal weather, and it looks like we're setting ourselves up for a repeat in the month of July here. All right, so overall, have a safe weekend, everybody. Chris, do you have an update on the radar trends for this afternoon, evening, especially if you're heading to the Bats game? I know a lot of folks interested in how that's going to play out with the fireworks show. Just really can't tell you for sure right now until we really see how the radar trends are for the afternoon, evening. And so it's not a sure thing that it's going to get rained out. So don't cancel your plans to go. Make sure to just keep an eye on your Way 3 weather app. And, of course, have a safe and holiday weekend. I will be back in for Kevin starting Monday evening. So I will be back on the evening shows starting Monday. So have a good weekend. I'll see you then.